Okay, thank you Raghavan and inviting me for this workshop. So, I am going to take the Shivale group. Already a lot of introduction has been given to you. Now, we are going to describe, is it working? Describe beautiful idea of Shivale, which says that, see, you have already seen that we have forgotten Lie algebra and remember root system only, because Say's theorem says that if you have root system, then there is a up to isomorphism, a unique semi-simple Lie algebra having that root system. Okay. So, so that means this Lie algebra has gone into background and the root system is coming to play. We will further exploit the property of root system, so that many of the properties, okay, so almost everything is going to be governed by this root system. Okay, so this is a beautiful idea of Shivale. He started the root system and arbitrary field, and he created a Lie algebra over that field and set in automorphism subgroup of that Lie algebra, which he calls Shivale group, and those groups turns out to be simple and which were not known earlier. Alternating group of course known, some classical groups are known by Dixon and then a thing, but we get infinite family of this simple group. Okay. So, which is a major part of finite simple groups. So, okay, so alternating group is one series and this is going to be another infinite family, infinite series, and only few left which are sporadic. Okay, of this construction. Okay, so let me begin with that. So it is, as Raghavan studied told in the morning, it is always good to start with recalling something which you can already done. Okay, so since a root system is going to be determined and uniquely determined semi-simple Lie algebra. So, we start with the semi-simple Lie algebra. So, let us fix. So, L, so these are fixing of notations, semi-simple finite dimensional semi-simple Lie algebra, semi-simple Lie algebra, and H a Cartan subalgebra. Okay. And we know that with respect to this H, we have decomposition of L into eigenspaces, adjoint action to adjoint action. So, L decomposes as H direct sum, L alpha, alpha belongs to phi, which we call root system. So, these are all eigenspaces where this H, so for any x in L alpha and H in H. So, H x on x by alpha H. So, this is in H star alpha H x. Okay. So, these are called root, and okay. So, these are we are taking only non-zero, they are finitely many because this is finite dimensional. So, we have finitely many things, and we have seen that the this is a root system. Okay. So, Killing form defines root system in Euclidean space. So, phi is in fact a root system. How do you see that? We have seen that. So, if you take the real span of phi, okay. So, and if you can pick up a base of this and then take any element of this root system, it is a rational linear combination of those simple roots. Okay. So, therefore, it is going to be invariant under this real linear combination. So, so this is going to be root system, phi is a root system. It has already mentioned several times, phi is a root system. Okay. then we have some properties. So, for example, so many so we have correspondence with the Killing form and this. So, Killing form is defined on the Lie algebra, and it is non-degenerate restricted to H. So, you can pull back this inner product of from H to H star. So, each L alpha, so let for each say lambda belongs to H star, let T lambda, this is the Ampere's notation, with a unique element such that lambda, so that lambda of H is Killing form K kappa of H T lambda, okay, where K is Killing form. Oh, it's not visible. Okay. So, K is a Killing form. Okay, for this Lie algebra L. So, this Killing form, okay, so any functional will correspond to a unique element of H. Okay. So, lambda correspond to T lambda, this is H, and the element, so we denote as usual H alpha is the element which is denoted by T of alpha check. Okay. So, this is our, if you remember this to T alpha by alpha alpha. So, this is H alpha. Now, I know that H alpha is also going to form, so this alpha check is going to form a root system dual to the root system of this root system. Okay. So, now also fix a base of this, fix a base say delta. So, let me order also this space. So, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha L of phi. So, now fixing a base means fixing a positive system. So, with respect to this base, every root is either non-negative integral combination or non-positive integral combination of these roots. Okay. So, by this way we say define roots to be positive or negative, okay. So, given any base, it gives a positive system, notion of positive roots, and there are as many positive system as many elements in the while group. Okay. This has been already mentioned to you. So, if I write H I, so this is H of alpha I. Okay. So, see this alpha I check, if you can check that alpha I check is in fact basis of a dual root system. Okay. So, this H I is the integral combination of this H alpha is the integral combination of H alpha is an integral combination, integral linear combination of H I's. So, the idea of Chevalier is like basically constructing a basis of the Lie algebra for which structure constants are all integers. Okay. And okay, so the main thing is how to construct. He constructed a basis in fact of this Lie algebra, which now called Chevalier basis, and which is all structure constants are integers. Okay. So, for that let me first give a simple lemma. So, rather than this exercise, so the lemma will be exercise, I will discuss. tomorrow. So, let alpha beta be roots and be roots independent. Okay. So, that alpha beta is also root, and let so this is the Q. So, consider the alpha string through beta. Okay. So, let R and Q be largest non-negative integers such that so beta minus R alpha belongs to phi and beta plus Q alpha belongs to phi. So, then we know that we have okay, this string is going to be connected. So, then we have beta minus R alpha, and so beta plus alpha and beta plus Q alpha. The R belongs to phi because this string is going to be connected, and which is called okay, this has been already done I think, and you can also check it that. So, there is no gap. So, starting from root here you get the continuous roots which ends here. Okay. So, this is your what is called alpha string through beta. So, then there are several properties. So, one of the properties which I am going to mention is that then this is a simple exercise which can be done. So, this Q R plus 1 and alpha plus beta by beta beta. So, this is going to be R plus 1 square. Okay. So, the proof of this is done because, so let me just hint the proof. So, proof is first of all, so you consider the integral combination. So, phi intersection z alpha plus z beta. So, this is say phi prime is a root system of rank 2. So, this is a exercise. If you have already done it, it's okay, otherwise you try to do it. So, this is a root system of dimension 2. So, that means it is going to okay, and these roots alpha and beta are linearly independent. So, given any root of the root system, okay, so it lies in some base. So, you can assume that alpha is in some alpha is a simple root, for example. Okay. So, and you are now you are left to check the 2-dimensional case. So, this now check, now prove lemma case by case of 2-dimensional root system. So, you know that you know the root system of dimension 2 A1 cross A1, A2, B2 and G2. So, you check for those. Okay. So, this is going to be true, and one can assume that alpha is going to be alpha is simple, because any root can be assumed to be simple. It is going to lie in certain base. Okay. So, this the proof of this is okay. Next thing is, which is important, is yeah, I am assuming Q is at least 1 s. So, these are independent. Okay. So, alpha beta and alpha plus beta is also in phi. Okay. So, next thing is that we are going to construct a basis. So toward that, so now consider this, suppose you take L alpha, X alpha, a linear combination of H I, okay, and so for each X alpha, so for each alpha positive, so that X alpha belongs to L alpha, and X minus alpha belongs to L minus alpha, such that so X alpha is X alpha X minus alpha. So because you know that this is each of these root spaces are one dimensional, so in any case this is going to be a multiple of H alpha, but I can adjust the scalar so that it is exactly equal to H alpha. So given arbitrary choice of element here, I can take the corresponding choice here, so that this leaf bracket is H alpha. Okay. So now the question, okay. So now what happens to this? So suppose that we have alpha beta. Now let alpha beta in phi, and so that alpha plus beta is also there. So then there exists some constant x alpha x beta is some constant n alpha beta x alpha plus beta. Okay. So because this is going to be one dimensional, so certain multiple of so this is a complex number. So complex number times this x plus x alpha plus beta. Okay. So now the question is that, so given any such choice, as I mentioned, such choice of x alpha, I can always pick the corresponding choice so that this is going to be whole. So if I vary the choice, then what is going to happen? So first you notice the following, that x. So first you notice the following, that x beta x alpha, which is n beta alpha x alpha plus beta. But this is at the same time, this is same as minus x alpha beta, which is same as minus n alpha beta x alpha plus beta. So therefore we have n beta alpha, so is minus of n alpha beta. Okay. So for any such choice of element x alpha and x minus alpha and so a basis, we always have n alpha n beta alpha is negative of n alpha beta. Okay. So now if I change this element, so changing this element, this choice will be, so this choice only depends here. So changing this element will change, and this element will also change, but what will not change is the product of okay. So what is important here to note that n alpha, so it is important to know that, so n alpha beta and n minus alpha minus beta is independent of the choice. Of the choice of choice of x alphas. Okay, alpha positive. So if I is it okay? So if so this element is going to be this product will not change. So for example, just see it. Suppose I take x prime, just to see it. Suppose I take x prime x prime alpha to be some lambda times x alpha, so x alpha, so alpha positive. Then what will be x prime minus alpha? This will be lambda inverse x alpha. Okay, this will be. So therefore, we have. Okay, so this proves. So this implies your n alpha, and we write say x alpha prime x beta prime, say n alpha beta prime x alpha plus beta prime. Then it turns out that simple calculation, it turns out that n alpha beta n minus alpha minus beta is same as n prime alpha beta and n prime minus alpha minus beta. X x minus alpha. This is okay. So this is not going to change. So that means so whatever x alpha you take, this product is going to be invariant. However, this is going to this n alpha is going to change. So now next thing is that I want to choose n alpha in such a way that this is so I want to choose n alpha to be integer, and not only integer, this product to be negative of square of integer. Okay. So Shivale proved the following. Maybe I can erase this one. So now we are trying to get a nice basis. We have already captured a part of it, which is this, and we have this choosing x alpha, any x alpha going to satisfy like this condition. So now we want to further put restriction so that basis is really nice and the basis which we want. Okay. So let me state a lemma now. So this lemma is so let me call a lemma A. So suppose you have such a fixed choice of n alpha. Okay. Suppose you have a choice of x alpha. So let x alpha in L alpha. So alpha belongs to phi. Already taken, so that x alpha and xl minus alpha is h alpha for every alpha positive, and so this is one thing. Then we want to prove the following thing. The first thing is you take any you take any, let x you consider x beta. So then what is going to be true, that x alpha x minus alpha and x alpha x beta is q r plus 1 times x beta, where So, this is the beta minus R alpha is the alpha string through beta. Okay. So, this you consider the this string and x alpha satisfy this. In fact, if I fix alpha and beta and then only alpha need to satisfy this for this for this statement. But anyway, so for this we consider the SL2 representation. So, we consider the SL2 module M alpha, which is direct sum of L beta plus I alpha. So, minus R less than I less than equal to Q. Okay. So, then we know already that we have already seen M alpha is a simple SL2, which is your L alpha, L minus alpha model of dimension. So, dimension R plus Q plus 1, dimension R plus Q, R plus Q plus 1. Okay. So, because it goes R here and Q here and beta in middle. So, R plus Q plus 1. So, the highest weight for this is R plus 1. Okay. So, R plus Q is the highest weight for M alpha. Highest weight is this. Now, if you remember the SL2 representation, then we have defined there are certain elements defined. So, recall for SL2 representation. So, if lambda is a weight for SL2 reducible model, V lambda highest weight is the highest weight. Then we have defined certain element there. What are those? So, and suppose V0 is this is a maximal, a fixed maximal vector. This so which chalks are brighter? I think okay. So, you take V0, this I think and V okay. So, V a Maxwell vector, this is the Maxwell vector. Then we define what is Vi. Okay. So, Vi is 1 by I factorial Yi. So, Yi and V0, right. So, but what is the role of Yi is being played here? X minus alpha is so which is in our setting is going to be x is going to replace by x alpha and y is replaced by x minus alpha. So, you remember the action of this x and y on this Vi, and we said V minus 1 to be 0. So, you recall that x into Vi is lambda minus I plus 1 into Vi minus 1, and and y into V I is I plus 1 times V I plus 1. Okay. This property remember. So, therefore, you simply apply add to this vector x beta. So, because x beta is going to be the multiple of, so okay. So, now x beta is some lambda times some say scalar times say a times V q. Okay. So, where x where V q belongs? V q belongs to L beta, right. So, this is a because this is one dimensional. So, x beta is a scalar multiple of V q. So, the action of x beta is same as this a times action on this V I. So, now apply this or y here and this x here for this. So, now the lemma follows. Hence, we have. So, if I apply x alpha into x beta. So, x into x beta is same as this because this is a scalar time this. So, this is x beta is okay. So, since x beta belongs to this a times V q. So, this is going to be maximal weight r maximal lambda is r plus q minus I is q here minus q and plus 1 times V. Okay. So, let me write. So, this is a times V q. So, this is okay. So, this is a times V q minus 1, and if I again apply x minus alpha, then so x minus alpha and x alpha a V q, that is so this is equal to x minus alpha. So, so what is square will come a times. So, this is a times r plus 1 and this time so this is a q minus 1. So, q will come because this is I plus 1. So, q into V q, which is same as q times r plus 1 x beta. Okay. So, this is a simple application of SL2 representation theory to prove that this is going to end, this is going to be true. So, the lemma is proved. Is it okay? So, now so this property holds. So, now I can further get or element restrict or element x, so that it is going to satisfy the following thing. Okay. So, this lemma said the following. So, x alpha are those we are putting the restriction and this one. We can further okay, make our choice, make the choice of x alphas, so that so this is of course will be there, x alpha, x minus alpha will be h alpha, this is there, and but this time n alpha beta are say minus alpha minus beta is negative of n alpha beta. Okay. So, remember n alpha beta, their scalar used to get the commutator x alpha x beta. So, now, they have this property, and the statement of the lemma says that you can put further restriction on the choice of x alphas, so that this property is going to be true. Which property? That is n minus alpha minus beta is negative of n alpha beta. Okay. So, how this is going to be true? So, here is the existence of certain automorphism of the Lie algebra, which I think Upendra Raghavan has done. Okay. So, L has automorphism. So, for the proof of this, so L has an automorphism theta of order 2 such that theta of h is minus h for every h in h, and theta of L alpha is L minus alpha. Okay. So, in fact, so there is general statement. So, given any automorphism of the root system, it can be lifted to an automorphism of the Lie algebra. Okay. So, alpha goes to minus alpha is an automorphism of the root system, and so this is the lifting, this is a lifting of that automorphism, alpha goes to minus alpha. So, anyway, so the existence of this can be also seen by the Chayes relations. Okay. So, so now assume for the time being, so this is we have automorphism here. So, alpha goes to minus alpha is automorphism of the root system phi, and this is going to respect the Chayes relation. So, therefore, it is going to induce an automorphism of the Lie algebra. Okay. So, L alpha, now under this automorphism, L alpha will map to L, so L minus alpha. Okay. So, this, so now, so therefore, if I take x alpha and x sigma alpha, so hence x alpha and x sigma alpha, not sigma, theta of x alpha, this is going to lie in C h alpha, because theta x alpha is L minus alpha, okay, L minus alpha, and this is L alpha, this is L minus alpha. So, the product is going to be lie here. So, so therefore, this is going to be some, okay, some scalar times some lambda times h alpha. So, now you set the choice. What is the choice to be set here? You take the square root. So, so let lambda alpha. So, let u alpha is a square root of minus lambda alpha. Okay, this is a complex square root of minus alpha, and okay, and take your x. So, now replace a new element. Let x alpha prime to be u alpha inverse x alpha, and x alpha x minus alpha. So, this is for positive root, and x alpha prime, this is theta of x alpha prime. Okay. So, you take the element x alpha, modify this x alpha by this scalar, and this is the corresponding element in L minus alpha. So, because theta takes L alpha to L minus alpha. So, then what is going to happen? So, then we have x alpha prime, x minus alpha prime. So, this is u alpha inverse x alpha, and so this element is theta of this. So, theta of this means u alpha inverse, and okay. So, and theta of x alpha. So, this is u alpha into x alpha theta x alpha, and x alpha theta x alpha is going to be lambda times h alpha. So, this is u alpha into lambda times h alpha, but this is a square root of this. Okay. So, this is going to be simply I think there we have to take this to be the negative of this, because this negative sign has to disappear. So, this is going to be minus of this, which is h alpha, because u alpha is okay, square root of minus lambda. So, therefore, this will go. So, this setting is going to satisfy this. Moreover, so what this is going to do? So, this is going to send theta x alpha prime is negative of x alpha, right. So, next thing is, if I apply this element x alpha x beta, x alpha x beta prime. So, then this is going to be apply theta here, because theta is automorphism. So, this is on one hand, this is going to be theta of x alpha prime and theta of x beta prime, and theta of x alpha prime is minus x alpha prime. So, this is minus okay. So, minus x minus alpha prime minus x minus beta prime, okay. And this is going to be n, say n prime, n or n prime minus alpha minus beta x minus alpha minus beta x prime, maybe n prime also right. On the other hand, if I take this element, this is theta, so n, so this is equal to n alpha, n prime alpha beta of theta x prime alpha plus beta, right, theta x plus alpha. But this is going to be same as minus n prime alpha beta x prime minus alpha minus beta. So, therefore, these two coefficients must be same. Okay. So, this is a, so therefore, n alpha beta is negative of minus n minus alpha minus beta. So, this proves the lemma. Okay, now we have so much restriction on the basis. Now the final restriction is the following. See, as you have remarked already, so by changing the choice of x alpha, the earlier condition which have obtained on n alpha beta prime is not going to change. So they are maintained. Okay. So you are further restricting our choice of x alphas. So now, so what you have obtained, that this integer is negative of this integer. So now the final statement about this getting a basis says that we can further restrict our choice so that it, okay, so that following is going to be true. So, so this is another lemma. We can further restrict our choice of x alphas so that all the property which we have obtained going to be hold, and so that first all above property going to be hold, all above properties holds, and further what is going to be hold is n alpha beta square is q r plus 1 alpha plus beta divided by beta beta. See, okay. So which is nothing but r plus 1 square, because we have already shown that at least remark that q times alpha plus inner, okay, alpha beta plus beta alpha plus beta divided by beta beta is r plus 1, and what r plus 1 is already there. So this is going to be r plus 1 square. So okay, so the statement, so this is going to r plus 1 square, and n alpha beta and n minus alpha minus beta, they are negative of each other. Okay. So therefore this and so n alpha beta is plus minus r plus 1. Why it is plus minus 1? Since n minus alpha minus beta is minus n alpha beta, minus n alpha beta. So this element is there, and the okay. So if the square is r plus 1 square, so then and this element is negative of this. So therefore n alpha beta is going to be plus minus r plus 1. So in particular the product of this n alpha, that is product of n alpha beta and n minus alpha minus beta, is minus r plus 1 square. That is what it is going to say. Okay. So for this we have already obtained a certain lemma. You remember the lemma where r, so these are the r and q are the integers which are determined in the alpha string to beta, right. So Should I write a proof or just leave an exercise? Okay. So, if you remember, there are two things to be noted down here. So, you consider the situation so x you already have x alpha beta is n alpha beta x alpha plus beta. Okay. So, now n alpha plus beta. So, n alpha beta x alpha plus beta and n alpha beta x alpha plus beta is, so this is n alpha beta and this is the negative of this. This is minus alpha minus beta, minus alpha minus beta. Okay. So, this is going to be n alpha beta square times h alpha plus beta, right, and this is going to be 2 n alpha beta. So, t alpha plus beta divided by alpha plus beta alpha plus beta, right, and I can write it down because the corresponding lambda goes to t lambda is linear. So, therefore, this is 2 n alpha beta square by alpha plus beta and t alpha plus t beta. So, this is the correspondence of functional Weierkelling form. So, on the other hand, so this is two-way computation using Jacobi identity. So, on the other hand, this is going to be this thing can be written down. So, this is x alpha x beta, right. This is x alpha x beta, but n alpha beta is negative of n minus alpha minus beta. So, negative sign comes out. So, if I put minus here, then it becomes n minus alpha minus beta. Okay. So, put the negative sign here. So, this is then this becomes x minus alpha minus beta. Okay. Now, apply Jacobi identity. So, this if you apply Jacobi identity, this is going to be equal to, I am writing straight away. So, this is going to be x beta x alpha x beta and then x minus beta and x minus alpha, this bracket, this bracket, this bracket plus where? So, this is x, thank you. So, x minus alpha, x minus beta. So, plus x beta, x alpha, x minus alpha, okay, and x minus beta. One more, I suppose. So, now apply the lemma, this lemma, which if you remember, you have proved a sub lemma for this, that if I take element, so x, so remember the lemma, recall the lemma. x minus alpha and x alpha, x beta. This is a q r plus 1 x beta. Okay. So, where this r and q are integer determined in the alpha string to beta. So, whether you take the alpha string to beta or minus alpha string to minus beta, the integers r and q will be same, right. So therefore, if I apply here, so this is for the, so if you take the alpha string for beta, then minus alpha will be there, then alpha and then this. So here look at the situation here. So here you have alpha, then minus alpha. So that is going to the minus alpha string to minus beta, but the r and q are going to be same there, and there this is the minus beta string to minus alpha. So here there will be some other integers q prime and r prime, and there you have integer. So r and q. So this is going to be what it is by that lemma. This is going to be r prime, okay, so q prime r prime plus 1, what it is. So x beta x alpha, so x minus alpha will be there, okay. So this and we will get x alpha x minus alpha plus q r plus 1, right, q r plus 1. So minus alpha, here you get x beta x minus beta. So where r prime and q prime are integers uniquely determined in where. So this is the beta string to alpha. So this is alpha minus r prime beta and so on. So alpha and alpha plus q prime beta. Okay. So if you take these number to be the, okay, r prime and q prime in this string, okay. So then we get the first term is q prime r plus 1 prime, and this. And this lemma applied when alpha replaced by minus alpha, beta replaced by minus beta, because replacing alpha by minus alpha, beta by minus alpha, the r and q are not going to change. So this is going to be this. But what it is? So this is h alpha, this is h beta. Okay. So now since h alpha and h beta are linearly independent, because alpha and beta are linearly independent roots, so now compare the coefficient of both sides. So now comparing the coefficient of both sides, we get. So I compare the coefficient of this one, this T beta. Okay. So what do I get? We get 2 n alpha beta square by alpha plus beta, No. So you replace simultaneously alpha by minus alpha and beta by minus beta. So okay. So, this you get q, here the coefficient will be q r plus 1, and here get h beta. H beta means 2 times beta beta, right. This proves the lemma. So finally, so what you have now obtained? So we have following theorem of Chevalley. There exists a basis so this is H1 H2 HL. These are fundamental co-roots. So HI Hj is 0 for every ij, and for every alpha in phi, H alpha is an integral linear combination of HI's and x alpha x minus alpha is H alpha for every alpha. So, if okay, so if n, so n alpha beta is so if I write say if x alpha and x beta is n alpha beta, x alpha beta, x alpha plus beta, then n alpha beta is plus minus r plus 1, where r is the largest integer, such that beta minus r alpha is a root. Okay. So, we have a beautiful property of this basis, right. So, we have already proved the many part of I mean everything of the theorem except some minor exercises. So, you have anything left? So, you have obtained a basis which have this property. Such a basis will called such a basis will be called a Chevalley basis. So, Chevalley basis. So, okay. So, now there are several issues. For example, there might be several choices of Chevalley basis, and if you vary one choice over other, then what will be the effect, what will be their effect, and so on. For example, if you take different root system, you will get different. Okay, so you will get different basis. If you take different Cartan subalgebra, you will get different. Okay, they are isomorphic but different. So, all these Chevalley, the basis is going to be different, but all the time we are going to get the isomorphism theorem which Dipendra, and they can be applied to show that if there are two Chevalley bases, then there is isomorphism of the Lie algebra, okay, which takes this basis to that basis. So, therefore, I still have time 11:45. Right? So, therefore, what is the property of this that all the structure constant. So, now fix the Euler basis. Euler basis, say H I and X I. So, let L Z to be this integral span of some Z H I plus some Z alphas, X alphas. Which theorem? Which relation?
Since the same X alpha will work. That's what. So any X alpha will work, right? So what?
For that.
If your X alpha satisfies, if you choose your X alpha according to previous lemma.
Yeah. So we have to take X alpha, so that X alpha minus X alpha is H alpha, and N alpha beta is minus N minus alpha minus beta. Then it will follow. Yeah.
So you don't need to further.
You don't need. Yeah, don't need. So, but if you combine those two things, that N alpha beta equal to minus N minus alpha, N alpha minus beta, then it follows that N alpha beta is plus minus R plus 1. Okay, these two things combined together give.
Actually, also that doesn't seem to require this, no?
Which one?
You have one square equal to another square, so one number must be plus minus another number.
That is a square of negative, na? Minus sign is there.
Do we need to use that? We got N alpha beta square was R plus 1 square.
No, that, see, we have, we have already obtained here that N alpha beta is minus N minus alpha minus beta, okay, and then N alpha beta is square equal to R plus 1 is square. So, from these two we get that N alpha beta is R plus 1 plus minus R plus 1. It is used. See, there are several, I think if you see this Curtis article, so he first proved that N alpha beta N minus alpha minus beta is minus R plus 1 is square, and then then he derives that N alpha beta equal to plus minus R plus 1. But here we have gone other way. Yeah. Yeah. So, I have gone little, I mean, thoda bahut Humphrey, thoda bahut Curtis and so on, this kind of thing. Not. So, anyway, if I have such a basis, then what is going to happen? If I take any two elements here, x and y, then if x and y is there in LZ, bracket x y is also in LZ, right. So, because we have already seen that x alpha x beta is some integers times x alpha plus beta and so on, and also h I x alpha, you know what we have also h I x alpha, that is also integer times this h I say x alpha is this alpha I, right, times x alpha. So, this is integer. So, this is an integer. So, if it take the bracket of any two element, then this will be integral linear combination of Chevalier basis. So, therefore, it is going to be Lie algebra over Z. Okay. So, LZ is a Lie algebra. Over Z. So, if I take the, so okay, if I take any element, then it is an integral combination of Chevalier basis. I can reduce the integer modulo P, and I can get a okay, Lie algebra over ZP and so on. So, more generally, if I take, so this is called Chevalier algebra. LZ is called Chevalier algebra. So, there is also see some comments on sign, next time maybe I will say. Our next lemma is the following. We have a Chevalier basis. So, consider above Chevalier basis. Then for any alpha in phi and m integer greater than equal to 0, add x alpha power m upon m factorial. Okay. So, leaves LZ inside LZ. So, that is this Chevalier algebra is invariant under all such endomorphisms. Okay. So, to prove this, we have to only see the effect on basis. So, this is enough to prove. So, you have to simply show that the effect on the basis is okay, of this endomorphism. So, if alpha is fixed. So, if I take x alpha, so you see that add x alpha power m of x alpha, this is going to be 0, right? This is going to be 0, this element is 0, and add x alpha of x beta is also 0 if alpha plus beta is not a root. Right. Similarly, if I take alpha string to be, so what are the roots which are meaningful to us? Especially those roots which are lying in the alpha string to beta. So, if I take any such roots, so suppose beta lie in the alpha string, consider the alpha string to beta, that is beta minus r alpha, beta minus r minus 1 alpha, and beta. alpha and beta plus q alpha. Consider such. So, gamma, you consider such gamma. So, you see that the R, okay. So, if I apply, so the value of R for alpha plus beta, say, let me write one more term, alpha plus beta. So, the value of R for the for this okay, alpha is R for
Alpha will not be there in that stage.
where
It's a alpha square to beta. Alpha will not be there. It's beta and alpha.
beta beta plus oh, this is okay na, alpha is staying through beta, so ठीक तो है हाँ हाँ राइट ओ आई एम सॉरी beta plus alpha beta. So only those roots are many. So if alpha plus beta is not root, then it is 0. Okay, that is going to lie in LZ. Simply this is there. So you consider any such root. Okay. So if I apply here, say apply here an x beta to this endomorphism, so then it go to x alpha plus beta. It will end here. Okay. And for here, the value of R is R plus 1. Apply, okay, apply. And for the value of alpha plus 2 beta, the value is R plus 2. And the value at here is R plus Q. Is it okay? So what does it mean? That, so therefore, if I take add x alpha m by factorial m x beta. So because, so first time I get R plus 1 because bracket x alpha beta is plus minus R plus 1 times x alpha plus beta. So this will get plus up to sign plus minus R plus 1, but now I have landed into alpha plus beta root space. So if you again take add x alpha, it will alpha beta plus 2 alpha, but there you will get R plus 2 here, because from here the okay, this length is R plus 2, and here you get R plus Q, right, and divided by factorial and then what do you get here? So this is x. So this is x beta plus q alpha, right? You have gone there. M is this will get m times R plus m times s times this. Beta plus m alpha, right? Beta plus m alpha. Okay? Beta plus m alpha. So if m is of course greater than q, this will be going to be 0, and if it is less than or equal to q, this is also going to be the binomial coefficient. So this is R plus m, choose m, x beta plus m alpha, where either this is 0 if m is greater than or equal to q, or whatever it is. So this is going to be LZ. Okay? And if I apply to h, we will again get integer. So all the time we are going to be integral linear combination of basis element here. So therefore this is going to be invariant under such endomorphism. So maybe I will stop here and next time I will start with the definition of Chevalier group.